She told me, to my face in a parking lot after a family birthday dinner, that she needed my daughter. Not because they had a special bond. Not because she genuinely loved her the way family is supposed to love each other. She needed my 13-year-old girl because she did not have a daughter of her own. And my child had become, in her mind, a prop. A character in a script. A piece of content she was apparently owed by the universe. The word she used was brand. She wanted to expand her brand. Let that sink in for a moment. A grown woman, standing in a parking lot after a dinner celebrating my mother's 70th birthday, looking me in the eye and telling me that my daughter's presence at a private, personal, milestone moment, graduation dress shopping, was something she deserved access to. Because of her brand. I had been patient for over a year. I had bitten my tongue at Christmas when she turned the whole day into a film set. I had swallowed my frustration while my daughter told me she dreaded every family gathering. I had watched this woman slowly transform every sacred family moment into a content opportunity, and I had stayed quiet. Because family. Because peace. Because surely, she would eventually get the message. She did not get the message. So when she pushed me one final time in that cold parking lot, asking once more for the date and place of a dress shopping trip she had absolutely no right to attend, I stopped being quiet. What followed divided the family, exploded a group chat, and ended with a silence more satisfying than any apology she could ever have offered. Let me take you back to where this story truly begins. To understand everything that happened, you need to understand who we are and who my sister-in-law used to be. My husband and I both work in construction. We are practical people, direct people. We do not sugarcoat things. We do not perform for other people's comfort. And we raised our daughter that way too. I will call her S. She is 13, sharp as a tack, with a dry sense of humor that makes grown adults do a double take and a backbone that most women twice her age would envy. She has known her own mind since she was small. She got that from both of us, and we have never once tried to sand it down. My sister-in-law, I will call her Renee, married into our family almost a decade ago. She is a stay-at-home mom with 2 boys, 8 and 11, both deeply embedded in the Canadian travel sports circuit. Hockey in the winter, baseball in the summer, weekend tournaments, long drives with snack bags and team jackets, hotel breakfast buffets at 7 in the morning before 6-hour game days. It is a full lifestyle, and for a long time it genuinely suited her. And around S, she was wonderful. She was the cool aunt, the one who lit up when my daughter walked into a room, the one who used to say, half wistfully, that she wished she had a daughter of her own. When S made her first communion, Renee was right there with us. She helped S pick the dress. She cried at the ceremony. There was nothing transactional about any of it. It was real warmth, real love, the kind that does not need an audience. That version of Renee, I liked her. My daughter loved her. Hold on to that image. Because what this woman became over the following year made that version of her genuinely hard to recognize. A medium close-up of a woman in her late 30s sitting alone at a kitchen island late at night. The room around her dark and still. Her face is lit almost entirely by the cold blue-white glow of a smartphone screen she holds up, scrolling slowly through a social media feed. Her expression moves from casual interest to something sharper, a look of calculation crossing her features. A half-empty glass of wine sits forgotten beside her, shot from a slightly low angle with a 35mm lens, the phone's underlighting casting unflattering shadows that give her expression an unsettling quality. 16:9 widescreen landscape, cinematic realism, grounded drama. A wide shot of a living room dressed for Christmas, a tall tree in the corner strung with warm-colored lights, wrapped presents beneath it, garlands along the mantel. At the center of the room, a woman in her late 30s stands behind a tripod-mounted ring light, phone attached, filming the room with focused, managerial intensity while family members around her look variously uncomfortable, forced, or resigned. The harsh white ring light creates a jarring contrast with the warm amber of the Christmas decorations, one source inviting, one invasive. Shot at a slight high angle on a 28mm wide lens. 16:9 widescreen landscape, cinematic realism, grounded drama. A medium shot of a teenage girl sitting at a festively decorated family table, subtly aware of a blurred adult figure off to one side, holding up a phone to film. The girl stares directly at the phone with a perfectly flat, stone-faced expression, chin slightly raised, posture deliberately slouched, one hand hovering near her face in a gesture that is both comical and quietly defiant. The table around her is warm and cluttered with the evidence of a family gathering. She's the only one in sharp focus. Shot on a 35mm lens at eye level, shallow depth of field. 16:9 widescreen landscape, cinematic realism, grounded drama. After Christmas, the behavior continued at every single family event. A birthday, a backyard barbecue, a Sunday dinner at my mother-in-law's. It did not matter the occasion. It did not matter the size of the gathering. It did not matter whether it was a milestone or just an ordinary get-together. Renee arrived with her phone ready, and every gathering followed the same arc. She staged moments. She directed conversations without appearing to direct them. She created these elaborate-seeming setups. S, in her braiding hair, decorating something together, laughing at something Renee had quietly arranged for them to laugh at, and S would deploy her counter-strategy, and the footage would be unusable, and Renee would reset and try again with slightly different framing. I want you to sit with the absurdity of that for a moment. A grown woman and a 13-year-old child, locked in a silent war at every family gathering, neither one naming it directly out loud. One trying to manufacture moments, one trying to sabotage them, and me in the middle, saying increasingly pointed things that Renee consistently chose to interpret as oversensitivity. She told me once that I was being old-fashioned, that kids grow up digital now, that having an online presence was actually a positive thing, that S should be proud to be featured. I want you to notice something in that sentence. Not that S had consented to being featured, not that S wanted to be featured, that she should be proud. The consent had been assumed. The access had been decided. The entitlement had quietly calcified into something Renee genuinely could not see past anymore. My daughter had not consented. My daughter had, in fact, spent months executing an elaborate personal performance specifically designed to prevent herself from being featured. But Renee had decided that proximity to our family meant permission. That love, or the performance of love, was a content license. It was not. It had never been. And we were rapidly approaching the moment when that truth was going to be stated at a volume that could not be misinterpreted. My mother's 70th birthday dinner was supposed to be one of those evenings you just absorb whole. Good food, the whole family around one table. Everyone dressed a little better than usual, leaning into the occasion. 70 years is a milestone. You want to be present for it. You want the memory to belong to the person whose night it is. We barely made it through the bread course before Renee had her phone out. To his credit, Renee's partner, a genuinely good man who has quietly endured this chapter longer than any of us, snapped at her within the first 20 minutes to put it away. She did, grudgingly, briefly, but you could feel the restlessness vibrating off her. She kept glancing at things around the table, noting the light, cataloging the moments she was missing as though tallying a financial loss. And then S, simply making dinner conversation, mentioned she was going dress shopping for her grade 8 graduation. The reaction from Renee was immediate, and I need you to notice something in how I am describing it. She did not light up the way you light up when someone you love shares exciting news. She lit up the way she lights up when she identifies an opportunity. I had, by this point, learned to tell the difference with precision. She started immediately. Wouldn't it be wonderful if she came along? She could document the whole experience. This was exactly the kind of content her audience responded to. Emotional, personal, authentic. A mother and daughter graduation dress trip, but with a beloved aunt. A found family angle. Multi-generational warmth. It could be a whole series, she said. A series. I deflected. I changed the subject. I'll let it die. But Renee does not let things die. She came back. She reframed. She came back again with a different angle. She worked this pitch into the dinner conversation at least 4 more times over the course of the meal, each pass with a new hook, a new reason why this was a beautiful idea I should genuinely appreciate. My mother sat at the head of her birthday table and watched her 70th become a pitch meeting. By the time we moved toward the door, I had made my decision. I was only waiting for Renee to give me the opening. A dramatic medium shot of two women facing each other in a near-empty parking lot at night under the harsh glare of orange sodium vapor streetlights. The woman on the left stands with squared shoulders and unwavering eye contact, speaking with controlled but unmistakable intensity, jaw tight, hands steady at her sides. The woman on the right has taken a half-step back, her expression caught mid-shift between indignation and genuine shock. A teenage girl is visible slightly behind and to the right, watching in stillness. Hard light creates deep, unforgiving shadows across both faces. Shot at eye level on a 35mm lens, wide enough to capture all three figures. 16:9 widescreen landscape, cinematic realism, grounded drama. A close-up of a smartphone held in a woman's hands in a darkened room. The screen displaying an active group chat where message after message is arriving in rapid succession. The thread lighting up repeatedly, a flood of responses rolling in. Her hands are still, her thumbs hovering above the screen. Only the phone illuminates her face from below, her expression carrying quiet, composed satisfaction. The room around her is fully dark, making the glowing screen feel like a window into something significant. Shot from a low, over-the-shoulder angle, the screen dominant in the frame. 16:9 widescreen landscape, cinematic realism, grounded drama. A warm medium-wide shot inside a small boutique dress shop. Natural daylight filtering softly through tall front windows. A mother and her teenage daughter stand together in front of a full-length mirror, the girl wearing a formal graduation dress. The mother stands slightly behind, hands loosely clasped, her expression open and quietly proud. The girl looks at her own reflection with a small, certain smile, the particular expression of someone who has found exactly what they were looking for. No phones visible anywhere in the frame. Shot on a 50mm lens from a respectful distance that preserves the intimacy of the moment. 16:9 widescreen landscape, cinematic realism, grounded drama. There's a particular kind of thinking that has grown up alongside the family content world. This idea that proximity to a child grants access to that child. That being family, or performing love the loudest, entitles you to someone else's child's image, presence, and moments. That if you need something and the thing you need belongs to someone else, the need itself is justification enough. It is not. It never has been. And here is where the karma lives in this story. Because this is a karma channel, and we do not leave without naming it. The karma is not just the parking lot, as cathartic as that moment was. The karma is the group chat that Renee opened expecting a verdict in her favor and received instead a documented record of exactly what she had done to people who loved her. It is the silence she met when she demanded an apology, a silence that said more about how far she had traveled from who she used to be than any argument could. It is the family she had filmed for a year, finally speaking, collectively and without hesitation, in one voice. But the real karma, the karma I will think about for years, is what S knows now. She knows her discomfort is worth naming. She knows the adults around her will go to the mat for her boundaries, loudly if necessary. She knows she is not available to fill someone else's need. She knows her image is hers, her story is hers, her moments are hers, and that anyone who treats her as a prop will hear about it in terms they cannot talk their way around. She's going to need that knowledge. Every day, for the rest of her life, she's going to need it. If this story hit close to home, if you have ever bitten your tongue for too long and then finally said the thing that needed saying, drop a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe to Cold Karma. We are here every single day with stories about people who pushed too far and the people who finally pushed back. We will see you in the next one.